Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Thursday, October 3rd, day 80. We have 10 days left to go in Big Brother 26. And today I am recording this via video, and I will be posting the audio shortly. Well, shortly is whenever I have a few moments. Won't take me long. But I am recording the video for my patrons because I do that every once in a while, and it's been way too long this season since I did the last one, so I thought I would do it this morning. And we have a lot to talk about. There's stuff going on, guys. Yesterday was like, there's nothing. It's boring. There's nothing to talk about, so I'm going to spend almost my entire podcast talking about Paul and Sharon's interview with Paul and other reality shows and yada, yada, yada. And then I get home and I sit down and I see, oh, look, they're actually thinking of voting out Rabina. And it was a lock that Chemo was going, right? There was no question. Yep, Chemo's going. They're keeping Rabina because they want Chelsea and Mackenzie are like, yep, we're having a three-way or a three-person women's alliance. We're going to keep Rabina. We're going to get rid of Chemo, and it's still not locked yet. So that's it. It's up in the air. I actually took the time yesterday morning to find a Waffle image with a do not enter sign over it, like no waffle, like it's no Waffle Wednesday, like things aren't changing today, and then things change. So I'm fine with that. It's just interesting. So what happened is what people are asking, and I'm trying to decide who I give credit for this, right? It's kind of, is it Cam's doing? Is it Chelsea's doing? It's not Mackenzie's doing. Mackenzie would like to get rid of Chemo. That is who she wants to get rid of. She feels safer with Rabina. She doesn't think that Rabina will come after her. She can't play in tomorrow night's head of household competition. And if Chemo wins it, chances are Chemo is going to nominate her. At least nominate her as one of two, right? Chemo has to nominate two. Remember, tomorrow will be the head of household that doesn't really let you make a decision other than you get to choose the initial nominations, right? Saturday's power veto is actually the much more powerful thing, because no matter what happens on Friday with nominations, the power veto winner can either save themselves or controls who's left on the block. Other than head of household gets you safety. Head of household is basically immunity tomorrow. And then tonight, what am I talking about? Head of household, they'll play it tonight. So the winner of tonight's head of household will have safety and gets to nominate, but in reality, the power veto winner determines the final two nominees. So they kind of have some control over it, and the one non-nominated person is the one who gets to actually vote between the two. So it's kind of a different wonky situation. But that's okay. So, let's, again, back to who's responsible for this. How did this come about? So we know Mackenzie doesn't want Chemo if she had to pick between the two, right? But Cam feels more secure with Chemo. So, because Chemo's has said to Cam, well, I'd go after Mackenzie. Rabina didn't really say I'd go after Mackenzie to Cam. Rabina kind of left it there's not been a whole lot of campaigning going on, but what little campaigning has gone on has involved Chemo saying I would target Mackenzie next, and not you, Cam, and Rabina not saying that. And then the whole argument of Cam thinks he can beat Chemo more than he can beat Rabina, but whatever. We don't know. It's kind of tough to say. Nobody's I would be more worried about beating Mackenzie than I would or Chelsea than I would either Chemo or Rabina. But you got to do what you got to do. So Yesterday, Cam expressed some reluctance to evict Rubina, to evict Chemo to Chelsea. And Chelsea seemed somewhat receptive to that. Chelsea now, by the way, as I said, who's responsible for this? Is it Chelsea or is it Cam? Well, Chelsea is trying to navigate, in her perfect scenario, I really think she wants Mackenzie and Cam as the final four, and the other two parts of her final four. Final three, actually. Yeah, she wants Mackenzie and Cam as her final three. Mackenzie seems to say, and I've not seen her say different, although she isn't a Cam talker. She doesn't talk to us when no one else is watching, but she seems loyal to Mackenzie and Cam. And so, for Chelsea, it benefits keeping Mackenzie happy. And so she can't just say, guess what, Mackenzie? Cam and I control the votes this week. Sorry you didn't use the power veto to put Cam up after you got suspicious of his motivations. But we're gonna vote Rubina out, which is not what you want. So Chelsea, again, in a perfect world, she wants the final three to be her, Mackenzie, and Cam. So this whole, whether we put out Rubina or Chemo next, shouldn't matter as long as whoever they leave back doesn't win the next head of household or the power veto. Then they can just get rid of that person next. This is what this is all about. This is all playing out to who do we keep around that we hope can't win the power veto or the next head of household. That's kind of where things are at. And I don't know how Cam feels about all that. He may want Chemo to win the next head of household or power veto and then get rid of Mackenzie. Or not him, right? So take Cam out of the equation. I'm mainly talking about Chelsea and Mackenzie, who have been the two that have won most of the competitions among these remaining five. All right, so Chelsea knows that Cam wants to get rid of Rubina. Now she's got to play but she doesn't want to make Mackenzie mad, so she's got to play let's make it Mackenzie's idea, right? And although it wasn't the first person to do it, the person that was really good at this was Derek from Big Brother 16. I watched him, have a discussion with people where he went in with the person adamantly wanting to get out person A and keep person B. And by the end of the conversation, that same person was now saying, I want to get rid of person it flipped. I don't know how I said it to start with. Keep A and get rid of B. And completely flipped and was adamantly wanting to get rid of the other person and felt it was their own idea. That's what Chelsea's trying to do with Mackenzie, to get Mackenzie to make it her idea to get rid of Rubina. And it hasn't been going very well. Mackenzie is actually willing to say, it's your choice, it's your vote, do what you got to do. But if you're asking me to make the decision, my opinion is I'd rather see Chemo voted out. And Chelsea really has been trying very hard to get Mackenzie to change that and say, you know what, I agree, we should get rid of get rid of Rubina, and she won't do it. I don't think she's going to do it. So it's not that they can't vote out Rubina. It's that Chelsea wants to do it in such a way that Mackenzie feels like she was the one who decided that was what had to happen, and Mackenzie's not doing it, at least so far. I posted a couple of different videos last night on Twitter, about almost 10 minutes each, of this whole situation where you could watch Chelsea and Cam. The first video is Chelsea and Cam talking to Mackenzie, and both of them offering up kind of arguments about why Chelsea should, why Rubina should go. That was the first one. You could hear them go, well, she's won this. And they try to make it seem very innocent, like, oh, we're just talking about options here. But in reality, as a viewer, we know that they both want to change Mackenzie's mind a lot more than Mackenzie realizes it, or thinks, or at least I think she realizes it. And that effort went on for a little bit last night, and then they separated, and I watched Chelsea say to Cam that, well, we got a lot of work to do tomorrow. Like, this didn't work, we're going to have to do it tomorrow. And then Chelsea went back upstairs to talk to Mackenzie and tried again with the whole angle of, what do you really want to do? Who do you really want out? And they proceeded to talk again for another, I don't know, half hour, however long it was, hour. I'm not even sure. I only watched again part of it, at which point I recorded another video of about 7 minutes or so of Chelsea talking to Mackenzie again about options and thoughts and reasons and no decisions being made. And then I went to bed. I gave up. And I did see, I just retweeted a little bit earlier a tweet by Joker's Updates, who I follow, where the person that was reporting for them said that Chelsea and Cam were talking, and Cam was actually willing to say, if it's going to be too much work, we should just keep Rubina. So Cam is willing to actually give in a little bit too. That was the point of that one. It was like, oh, okay. So I thought they were locked in. Yeah, never say never. I thought they were locked in on getting rid of Rubina now, and it was just going to be like, well, Mackenzie will just, in the end be like, yep, well, that's not what I wanted, and that's what you guys did, but that's okay. But it isn't the case. They still hadn't decided, at least as far as I can tell, as of last night, which is why we don't know who's going today. Not sure. We know the reasons behind it, but we don't know the lock-in. For some reason, they say they don't want a tie vote. Chelsea's telling Mackenzie that she doesn't want to do a tie vote, that just makes things messier. And I'm thinking, you're working too hard to, you're not going to win or lose a jury vote based on Mackenzie breaking a tie. I mean, Mackenzie should just say, I'll just break the tie, and she could just use that as a thing. Like, I had to break the tie. They couldn't decide between the two of you. I had to break the tie. And you're not going to win both those people's votes. You may, but you're not going to lose both those people's votes because you had to break a tie. I don't know. I just don't think. I think Mackenzie is overthinking it. They're all overthinking it, but that's what you do. I overthink everything. Okay, so that's what's going on. That's the Waffle Wednesday that I thought wasn't going to be, that turned into a Waffle Wednesday. And as of now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's going between Chemo and Rubina. Although, I don't know. For game purposes, I don't know which one I want to say. I don't know. It's hard telling. There's been this whole talk about, an all women's alliance and everything. We had to remember, the house was with 8 people left. There was 6 women and 2 men. And now, potentially, we're going to be 2-2. And I think every head of household since I don't think Cam or Chemo have one head of household. So every head of household's been a woman, and they've managed to vote out women the entire way down the ladder of remaining house guests. And it's possible now that a woman will go again, and we'll have 2 men and 2 women. We've had 2 men and 2 women lots of times. Final 4. I did these numbers. The last time we had a 2 women finale was actually Big Brother 13. So it's been a really long time since there was a 2-woman finale. So 13 years, because it has been. And that includes, by the way, Big Brother Over the Top and the 3 seasons of Celebrity. Total, all that time, there's never been a final 2 of women since Big Brother 13. Now, there's been several men final 2s. And there's been several men final 2s, and then a lot of one man, 1 woman finals. And it is possible, as has been pointed out, that we could still have a final 2 of men, obviously. If they do end up voting out Rubina tonight, and Chemo wins, well, then Chemo may very well nominate Chelsea and Mackenzie, and it could come down to Cam casting the vote. Or it could, you take any of those 3, Cam, Chelsea, or Mackenzie on the block. would McKenzie would vote out Cam, probably. Chelsea would be in a really tough situation. I don't know who she'd vote out. I don't know. Because Chelsea would then be looking at her and two men. So she'd probably do what Cam wanted or what, I don't know. And then McKenzie would probably vote out Cam. We're thinking ahead. So if McKenzie, if let's say that Cam wins, and he votes out, if Cam wins like power veto, or Chemo doesn't nominate Cam, and then Chemo wins power veto and he keeps them the same, Cam gets to vote out McKenzie. That's who I'd expect to vote out. And you end up with Chelsea, McKenzie, or Chelsea, Chemo, and Cam in the final three. There's a possibility that Chemo wins and takes Cam, or that Cam wins and maybe takes Chemo over Chelsea. I mean, at some point you have to think, who can I beat better with a jury? And I don't know. Some people are saying that Chemo could win Big Brother if he manages to get to the final two. So, yeah, I don't know. But Chemo winning out would certainly be wild and crazy for the way he's played the game so far, right? Anyways, that's a possibility. The possibility of a final two, men in the final two, is still possible, which is just crazy considering it was 6-2 several weeks ago of women to men, which was a record, by the way. 6 women with 2 men. It was a record for number of women, not for number of men. Have done 6-2 several times. All right, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. Those of you that are watching know that I'm getting close, that have seen me drive before, know that I'm getting close to my destination, and we are approaching the lots of pedestrians part of the drive where I get distracted, and not distracted in a bad way, distracted because I have to concentrate on my driving. And so rather than have awkward pauses, we're going to sign off. Wish you guys a happy Thursday, a happy crazy Thursday. I may do another podcast this afternoon since we do have a chance of a wacky vote. We'll see where things stand, if things have changed. But I probably will do a podcast this afternoon, and then we'll also talk to you guys Friday morning with an update on potentially who the next out of household is and how that all plays out again, because remember, things get crazy. And there you go. So that's what's up. Thank you again to all my supporters. Thank you to my Patreons. Good to talk to you. And hopefully, I know at least a couple of you, it'll be the first time I've done one of these since you became patrons. Anybody who at the last minute wants to become a patron in the last 10 days of Big Brother, you can sign up at patreon.com/BBGOSSIP. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm signing off. But for my patrons, I am going to stay on for just a couple of minutes and talk to you guys specifically. That is one of the things I decided I would start doing when I did these. So there you go. Thanks for listening, everybody. Those of you audio only, we'll talk to you later. We'll talk to you this afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.